What's up, everybody? Fortexfiend here, and it is that time. Should you be pulling on the upcoming units featuring the Monster Black Dragon as well as the LIU BEI Unicorn Gundam and that brand new UR supporter warship? This is with that SD Gundam type of anime where there's sentient units that we were teased with the trailer. We're going to be asking that question in this video. But before I go ahead and get started on that, you guys know the drill. If you enjoy what you see on this channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you're not missing out on future uploads. Leave a like or dislike on this video, and if you've had a chance to see the details on these units on the official X page for SD Gundam Eternal, let me know down below what you think, and let me know if you guys are going to be pulling or not. But without further ado, go ahead and check this out. So we're going to start off with the UR limited time unit, which is the Monster Black Dragon. We know it's a supporter unit, and the teaser that they gave here is that it has an EX weapon that decreases enemy defense by 25%. and MP by 1. That's the level 1 version. It also has an ability that increases own attack and defense by 10% when vigor is max or higher. So it's going to be a supporter unit that's going to be dealing more damage. And take a look at that. Its EX weapon decreases not only defense, but also offense. And at level 5, that defense down is going to be at 35% for sure. And I'm wondering if the MP will be either 3 or imagine if it's like 6. That's actually a very strong debuff. And I'm seeing a trend here. Like, they're starting to introduce different ways to reduce stats or specific things. Like the last one that we saw was a debuff that decreased the range of an enemy's beam range. So this one is pretty cool that it does both defense and offense. I think it's a really strong debuff. And if you manage to get this unit, again, for being a limited time, you already expect it to be better than the standard URs that we have that are not limited units. So very, very cool unit overall. So we're now going to take a look at its pilot, or essentially its link, because these are sentient beings. So, they have a link. It's a little bit different. So the teaser that we have here for just Monster Black Dragon is it has 2 support attacks, nothing we haven't seen before. And then it has a character skill that extends the max range of own weapon by 1. So that's always nice to have for your supporters. So that way positioning will be a little bit easier. And I'm hoping that it has some sort of maybe attack burst, or because it's decreasing the enemy's MP, imagine if it had a way to increase its own MP. I think all of that would be fantastic for it, or even give it something like increased mobility or sway, for example, so it could stay alive longer. But for a supporter pilot, I like it. I think definitely it benefits from having that increased range of own weapon. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take a look at LIU BEI Unicorn Gundam, which is going to be the non-limited unit. It is an attacker type. It has an EX weapon that increases weapon power the lower own HP is remaining up to 12%. So it's a riskier style of play that we've seen before. So it wants you to have lower HP. Check this out though. It also has an ability that increases own attack and defense by 15% when the enemy includes the rival tag. Wow. Okay. I mean, 15% is it's not super crazy, but still they're trying to sell this unit as okay, there's going to be stages that's going to have a lot of rival enemies, and also it's been hinted that the next Master League is going to have the rival tag featured again. So PvP, anybody, this is going to be a great unit that you could consider using for Master League, with rival being the hinted tag. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be rival with the trend of the banners that we've been seeing so far. But that's new. That's a new passive that they're giving it. And I wonder down the line if we're going to be seeing more of this, where a unit can perform better against specific enemies with a specific tag. But I think that's pretty cool. Definitely a way to try to sell this unit, to give it something new, compared to some of the other non-limited attacker units. Okay, its pilot, or its link, is LIU BEI Unicorn Gundam. So has an ability that restores own HP by 25% once when it falls to 25% or below. We've seen this before with Force Impulse and Shin. However, that unit and pilots is better because when it falls 50% or below, you get a 50% HP recovery. This one is 25%, and I believe the reason they designed it this way is because of its EX weapon, where you want your HP to be lower, but at the same time you want to stay alive, right? So it's pretty cool. It has essentially a second lifeline, and then it has sway. Increase own evasion by 100%. Do we know if it's sway 1 or sway 2? Because it's a non-limited unit, it's probably going to be sway 1. But if they gave it sway 2, I think that would be fantastic. But all in all, really cool. kind of a Dark Knight-esque style of play for this unit, and it's a unit having that increased attack and defense with rival enemies. I think is also pretty cool. Great way to try to sell this unit, especially for PvP. Finally, the Knight Amuro and Pegasus white base. What's cool about this, even though it's not a limited supporter warship, is that it now supports 2 tags, and I'm pretty sure down the line we're going to start seeing this more often, and I'm wondering now down the line too, we're probably going to be seeing this when they feature another limited UR supporter warship, and that's going to give those warships even more value. But this one is going to be standard, despite it supporting 2 tags. All stats receive a 25% boost, which is pretty standard. It also has the less desirable energy restoration, which we prefer HP restoration, but energy restoration is actually pretty useful. I actually found it very useful myself in the recent generation tower, especially with the harder stages where your energy kind of tends to run out, and if you don't have a way to restore it, it's always nice to have that warship to give your energy a little bit of a boost. But all in all, you're not pulling for this, and I'm glad that this is not limited, so that way down the line, if you do pull on future banners, there's a chance to get this one. And I think it's nice that they're giving it 2 tags now, which we're probably going to be seeing that in the future. So after all is said and done, should you be pulling on these units? I think Monster Black Dragon is for sure very powerful with that debuff now doing 2 different things, and we're probably going to be seeing that later down the line. It is a bit jarring that we're about to have 2 banners that have limited time units on it back to back, especially with the diamond economy, but it is a very powerful unit. I do think that this particular unit as well, for not being limited, it has a really cool selling point of having, you know, an increase in stats when you're battling enemies of a specific tag, and we're probably going to be seeing that later down the line. We already kind of have it with the alt units. Right now, that's an alt unit thing, so we're probably going to be seeing that later down the line with these future URs that we're going to be getting. But all in all, if you are a free-to-play or light spender, I'm still going to say you probably should be holding off, especially with the diamond economy being that the way that it is for free-to-play or even light spenders. Until we see improvements on that, I do caution pulling on every single banner. Now, if you're a whale, for example, on my whale account, I try to pull on everything so I could showcase these units for you guys on videos. But if you're not a whale, you're not a big spender, or none of these are your favorites, then I would just skip all entirely. We know that with this event, we're going to be getting 2 SSR development units from this side story event that you could definitely use for the event. We also know that Mobile Suit Gundam series is going to be boosted for those drops. So you could essentially entirely still skip this banner, use the development ones, and still have a good time and be able to clear the content. But all in all, I think they're fantastic. I think their designs are really, really cool. If you haven't seen the trailer, be sure to check it out, because the animations for these are some of my favorites that I've seen so far because of how unique that they are. But let me know what you guys think down below. Are you going to be pulling for these units? Are you excited? What do you think of the current diamond economy situation? How could they further improve it? And all that good stuff. Thank you guys again for watching. Stay tuned for the next video, and stay blessed, everybody.